Friends, our world is full of very beautiful places that will happily open their horizons to even the most experienced tourist. But there are cities in which you need to be extremely careful. I'll tell you about them. Be careful. Their murders, robberies, rapes are far from uncommon. 1. Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica's picturesque capital is full of tourist attractions. Museum of the legendary reggae artist Bob Marley, Port Royal Pirate City Museum, Hope Botanical Garden, and much more. Not to mention the gorgeous jungle and beaches. But at the same time, Jamaica is one of the most violent states in its region. In 2023, there were 52.9 murders per 100,000 island residents. At that time, this was the largest figure among Latin American and Caribbean countries. Kingston has a high crime rate, with robberies, street assaults, rape, pickpocketing, and drug and gang-related offenses common. 2. Caracas, Venezuela. In the capital of Venezuela, the main square of the city is located, Plaza Bolivar. Near it, there are many attractions: the cathedral, the National Congress, and the Archbishop's Chamber. In addition, the Juan Antonio Perez Museum, which houses the cultural and historical heritage of the country, the University City, included in the UNESCO World Heritage List, and the General Rafael Urdaneta Bridge deserve attention. However, enjoying the natural and architectural beauties of Caracas is hampered by the high crime rate. Murders, armed robberies, pickpocketing, and car thefts are commonplace here. There are often cases when people are kidnapped for ransom on the streets of the city. According to statistics, 98% of crimes in Venezuela do not result in criminal prosecution. 3. Tijuana, Mexico. Tijuana, located on the border between Mexico and the United States, has a lot to offer. This is the Monumental Arch, the symbol of the city and the most popular place for photo sessions, and the Cathedral of Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, distinguished by its curious architecture with Baroque elements, and Avenue Revolution, famous for souvenir shops, restaurants and bars, and the Assembly Museum, dedicated to contemporary art. Tijuana would be a great city for tourism if it weren't for the sky-high level of organized crime. In 2023, the city was awarded the title of the most dangerous in the world, with 138 murders recorded for every 100,000 inhabitants. In addition to murders, which average about 7 per day, kidnappings for ransom and human trafficking, drug sales and shootouts between gangs and police are common in Tijuana. 4. Nairobi, Kenya. The Kenyan capital is famous for its national park, the only one in the world located within the city limits. Nairobi boasts a national museum full of unique exhibits and authentic markets selling a variety of local crafts, jewelry, and foods. But at the same time, due to the poor economy and poverty of the population, the city is experiencing serious security problems. Extremely common crimes here include car theft, armed robbery, and theft. Thieves often snatch valuables from open car windows when drivers are stopped at traffic lights or stuck in traffic jams. Kidnappings and arms trafficking also happen. There are also frequent cases of fraud when criminals extort money from gullible tourists using fake documents and posing as government officials or police officers. Real police officers, alas, do not always cope with stopping crimes. In addition, Nairobi is sometimes the target of attacks by the extremist group Al-Shabaab. For example, in 2019, terrorists attacked a hotel in the city center, killing 21 people and injuring about 30. 5. Cape Town, South Africa. Cape Town is the oldest city in South Africa and the most popular tourist destination in the country. In it, you can climb Table Mountain, walk along the Victoria and Albert Embankment, and enjoy the view of the ocean. Visit numerous colorful shops and restaurants. At the same time, the city suffers from a high crime rate. With an average of 68.3 murders for every 100,000 inhabitants, Cape Town is among the 15 most dangerous cities in the world. There are also more murders, rapes, robberies, and gang attacks. The reasons are banal: poverty, unemployment, and racial conflicts. 6. Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. The capital of Papua New Guinea is one of the most interesting cities in Oceania for tourists. Here, you can visit the National Museum and Art Gallery, or go to the Botanical Garden, where the rarest species of plants, birds, and animals are collected. For lovers of active recreation, there is the opportunity to go surfing, diving, or fishing on the shores of the Coral Sea. However, with all the undeniable advantages, Port Moresby also has one minor drawback. It proudly bears the title of one of the most dangerous cities in the world. UN researchers assessed the level of security in the city as critical. There is a real rampant crime going on in the slums here. Local gangs attack visitors, rob them, and can even kidnap a person. Tourists risk becoming victims of robbery, rape, or murder, and even get infected with malaria or other infectious diseases. 7. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is full of attractions that attract tourists from all over the world. The most famous of these is the Christ the Redeemer statue on Mount Corcovado, which offers stunning views of the city and Guanabara Bay. But Rio, like many other Latin American cities, is plagued by crime. On the mountain slopes around the city, there are the poorest areas, favelas, whose inhabitants do not always have even basic sanitation facilities. The authorities intervene little in the internal affairs of the favelas, so poverty here is accompanied by drug trafficking, gang wars, kidnappings for ransom, hijackings, thefts, and human trafficking. 8. Port-au-Prince, Haiti. In this exotic corner on the Caribbean Sea, tourists can visit the National Pantheon of Haiti, a museum dedicated to the history and heroes of the country, the ruins of Notre Dame Cathedral and the Church of St. Anne, as well as the central square where the snow-white government buildings are located. Port-au-Prince is famous for its restaurants serving French, Caribbean, and Creole cuisine, as well as bars where you can taste real Haitian rum. It would seem like a traveler's paradise, except Haiti is one of the poorest and most unstable countries in the world, with serious problems with security, infrastructure, and hygiene. On average, Port-au-Prince has 54.75 murders per 100,000 inhabitants per year, placing the capital among the 50 most dangerous cities in the world. Power in the city is shared among about 200 gangs, and street wars, robbery, and the death of civilians in the crossfire of criminals on the streets are not uncommon. After all, in the city, you can easily catch yellow fever, diphtheria, tetanus, and hepatitis A and B9. Baghdad, Iraq. Baghdad is a city with a rich history and culture that can interest any tourist with its attractions. These are the monument to Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, the Abbasid Palace, the Al-Haidar Khan Mosque, the National Museum of Iraq, and Mutnabi Street, where booksellers gather. The capital of Iraq is also known for its gardens and parks and traditional Oriental shops. However, Baghdad is also one of the most dangerous cities due to high crime rates and terrorist threats. Tourists can find themselves victims of kidnapping, robbery, rape, murder, or a bomb attack at any time. This sad situation is associated with political instability, poverty, and violence from religious extremist groups. 10. Kabul, Afghanistan. Kabul, the capital and largest city of Afghanistan, located at an altitude of about 1,800 meters above sea level, is revered by thrill seekers as a very promising tourist destination. There is a lot to see here. The Abdul Rahman Mosque, the ancient fortress of Bala Hisar, which served as the residence of Afghan rulers until the 19th century, Babur's Garden, created by the founder of the Mughal Empire in the 16th century, and the picturesque Pagman Valley. But those who dare to visit Kabul will face many dangers. Afghanistan has been in a state of military conflict for many years. The city regularly experiences terrorist attacks, shootings, explosions, kidnappings, and attacks on foreigners,